So about last year when the Lakers won the championship and they made their additions in the offseason, I made a video titled "The Lakers Have Potential to Make a Dynasty." I thought their offseason additions were perfect, and I also thought that it was going to set them up to be favorites not only in the Western Conference for the next couple of seasons, but even in the NBA, because I just did not see any other team being able to deal with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, a duo that had already established themselves as a championship duo last season, along with now role players who have championship experience and a couple of other players who are eager to get a championship on their resume. But unfortunately, here we are in June 2021, and it looks like the Los Angeles Lakers are on the verge of losing in the first round, which would be LeBron James' first ever first round exit throughout his entire NBA career. And who would have thought it would come like this? An injury-ravaged season in which a lot of people coming into the year thought that they were going to win the championship and go back to back. But before we get into my thoughts on why the Lakers championship hopes look diminished to the point of no return, let me give a shout out to my second channel. You guys have been showing a lot of love on that second channel. Make sure you go and subscribe if you are not subscribed already, and check out my daily recaps because every day I upload on that channel, and you will get a video even later today about my thoughts on the playoff games. But without further ado, let's get back to the topic at hand, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, for some weird reason, I always see people in my comment section after almost every video, it feels like always accusing me of being a Lakers fan. And to all those people that think that, let me just clarify, I am not a Lakers fan. So do not think I'm being biased in this video or any other video that pertains to the Los Angeles Lakers. But getting back to things on the court, when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers and everything they've gone through over the last couple of months, I gotta say, as somebody who's not even a fan, it's been really rough to see because for starters, you have Anthony Davis, right? Last year, he had the best year of his entire basketball career, playing well in the playoffs and the bubble, and leading up to the finals, he actually had a really great final series that was kinda overshadowed by LeBron James playing well and AD having a pretty bad game 3. But after that playoff run was over, you have Anthony Davis only getting a couple of months of rest, and that's not really a good thing because AD has had injuries throughout his entire career, and we saw as soon as the season started, AD did not look like the AD that we saw not only in the bubble, but even in the regular season prior to the bubble. And what happens as soon as the regular season starts? Something that's so predictable even a blind man could see it. Because AD comes into the season, he isn't playing well, a lot of people criticize him, and to be fair, he just did not look like he was in the right shape. As though his defense looked great, his offense was fairly inconsistent. And I even remember Draymond Green saying in an interview that he played a top tier player and they just were not in the right shape. And ironically, a couple of days before he said that, it was the Lakers that he played. So to me, if even other players are noticing it, I think it's safe to say that AD was never 100% to start off the season. And you know what they say, if you're limping into the year, then you're going to be at least limping out of the year. And AD was definitely limping into this season. And say what you want about how good the Lakers are without Anthony Davis, with LeBron James manning the ship, let's just be honest here, they're not even going to sniff a finals without Anthony Davis. Because in the playoffs, we all know it is about your star stepping up in the big moments in order to lead you to victory, to be the deciding factor between a game where your role players don't play well and even in games where they are playing well. Hell, just look at the last couple of games against the Phoenix Suns. AD has been dominant in games 2 and 3. And in a lot of these games, their role players are not playing that well. But because Anthony Davis and LeBron James are superstars with tremendous impact, they can offset that. But we might as well just talk about the other guy in this equation, and that's LeBron James. Because look, LeBron James came into this year with limited rest just like AD, and we all know LeBron takes care of his body better than probably anybody in NBA history, scratch that, maybe in sports history. But unfortunately, Father Time is undefeated, and we even saw a couple of years ago a glimpse into that reality for LeBron James. As in his first year with the Lakers, let's not forget, he suffered a groin injury that cost him a good portion of the season, which led into the Lakers underachieving and eventually even missing the postseason for the first time in a very long time in LeBron's career. And this year we're seeing something fairly similar, because after LeBron rolled his ankle, I knew that was a huge red flag for the rest of the season, because as somebody who has suffered multiple sprained ankles and ankle related injuries, I can say those things hurt a lot, because it's not an injury that's all about the in the moment pain, it's about how it affects you moving forward. Sometimes it re-aggravates and you get back on the court, you try to play through it and you gotta rest it some more. And for a guy like LeBron James, who is 36 years old, you can only imagine how much that hurt him. And looking at this Phoenix Suns series, to expect LeBron James to carry them past this team is ridiculous. The Suns are not trash, they are not a bad team. They may be young and inexperienced, but they're still strong thoroughbreds that have the ability to play well at a high level, because they've been doing that all season as a top 5 offense and top 5 defense. Because this isn't 2018 where LeBron James had Jordan Clarkson, Kevin Love, and Rodney Hood, J.R. Smith, and a whole bunch of scrubs trying to take him to the finals. No, this is not that time. And this is not the Eastern Conference. LeBron is older and he's in a conference where you can't do things like that. So as it pertains to the two stars in LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they were already somewhat at a disadvantage coming into the season, health-wise I should say, because we know that AD is injury prone and LeBron's getting older, and to give them only a couple months of rest was a setup to just get hurt again. And I'm not saying that the NBA is wrong for what they did, shortening the year, giving them only a 2-month off season. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm simply saying is those are reasons for why they're in the situation that they're in. And I understand that they are a great defensive team without AD, and even without LeBron, they have some really scrappy players on the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, those players are fairly challenged, and I don't think a lot of people gave them credit for stepping up last year in the postseason and hitting a lot of big shots for them. Guys like KCP, Rajon Rondo, Alex Caruso, and Kyle Kuzma, they all played their role to the best of their ability last year in the postseason, which led to them eventually winning the championship. But this year, I think it's safe to say that their role players only wish they could step up the way that they did last year. Kyle Kuzma can't buy a bucket, as he's been a walking brick throughout the entire playoffs so far. Alex Caruso is shooting below 40% from the field and below 30% from 3, and KCP has been bricking so bad, this man has lost confidence. We all have seen the clip of LeBron passing him the ball and he passes it to the corner, and LeBron even getting in his face and saying, "I wanted you to shoot the ball." And as it pertains to their presence down low, I've already talked about why AD should be playing the center anyways. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check that out. But man, they need some interior presence desperately, because on one hand you have Andre Drummond, who has his moments of being good, but it's just moments. We all know consistently he can't keep that up at all. And then you move on to Montrezl Harrell, who, yeah, defensively he's even worse than Andre Drummond. That's why he's been getting a lot of DNPs recently, and for a guy that was supposed to be a big signing in the offseason, what a bust of a signing. You should have stayed on the other LA team, I'm just saying. So when you look at the Lakers role players, they're just not playing that well. And honestly, this is something that we should have expected, because at the end of the day, all these players that I just talked about are inconsistent players. These are not players that you can depend on game in and game out to give you consistent production, other than their defense, I would say, because Caruso, KCP, Schroeder, those are solid defenders, I'll give them that. But as far as the offensive end goes, guys like KCP, Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma, Andre Drummond, those are guys who need superstars in order for them to play at the best of their ability. And that's why last year when LeBron and AD were at full strength, we saw the difference in how their role players played. But before I wrap up this video, let me say this. Let's not use this series to diminish LeBron's legacy or say that they're frauds because of the bubble last year, because we all know that health has been a big reason why they're in the position that they're in. And as LeBron James gets older, injuries are only going to become the norm, because it may not be a major injury or anything like that, but nagging injuries that are going to linger into the postseason are going to become more serious than they were back in the day. This isn't 2012, this isn't 2013. LeBron is not Iron Man anymore. And as it pertains to Anthony Davis, not trying to be mean, it just seems like he's made of glass. He's an injury-prone player, and that's just the reality of him as a whole. So to all the Laker fans out there, I'm sorry, but it looks like your season is a wash. But if you disagree, feel free to let me know down below in the comment section. I'll respond to as many people as possible. Also, drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, and push the bell for post notifications. Be sure to check out my second channel. The link is in the description box as well as the pinned comment, and check out the Nothing But Action podcast. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Y'all stay safe and have a great day. Peace.